Hello everybody, welcome back to 40 Days with Dietrich. Today's excerpt is taken from Bonhoeffer's book, Life Together. Life Together has long been heralded one of the most influential Christian books regarding the Christian community and the Christian faith, really written within the last century. It is wildly popular. And so it's a book which is really important in my own Christian life and journey. You've probably heard me talk about it several times. So if you are wanting a foray into Bonhoeffer's writings and his books, Life Together is the place that you start. It is short. It's an easy read, but it is very, very profound. So our excerpt is taken from Life Together. The title given to this section is called Prayer and Work. Praying and work are two different things. Prayer should not be hindered by work, but neither should work be hindered by prayer. Just as it was God's will that human beings should work 6 days and rest and celebrate before the face of God on the seventh, so it is also God's will that every day should be marked for the Christian, both by prayer and work. Prayer also requires its own time. But the longest part of the day belongs to work. The inseparable unity of both will only become clear when work and prayer each receives its own undivided due. Without the burden and labor of the day, prayer is not prayer. And without prayer, work is not work. Only the Christian knows that. Thus, it is precisely in the clear distinction between them that their oneness becomes apparent. I have in mind a praise song, a folk praise song that I grew up singing in church. And the chorus is, worship and work must be one. And that's where Bonhoeffer ends, of course, in our little reading, that there is no separation really between a life of prayer and a life of activity, that the two, for the Christian person, they have to be entwined. That prayer is infused into the living of our lives and the activity of our lives. And the activity of our lives is that what grounds our prayer? Because our life in the world has to be our life with Jesus. And so we naturally are bringing the things of our life to God in prayer. Worship and work must be one. I think we spoke in one of the previous videos of Bonhoeffer's distinction between the two spheres of life and how he wants to collapse that. So there is not a secular over here and a sacred over here, and the two are always separate. No, the two are blended because our Christian life is a life with Jesus. And Jesus forms the reality of our life. And so prayer and work are together. He talks about them being united. But it's interesting where Bonhoeffer goes with this, because it's very easy to say, oh, well, I get that, and I try to be prayerful throughout my day, and kind of give lip service to this unity, but not actually live it out. Because it's interesting, because for Bonhoeffer says the two are united for the life of the Christian, but the only way that they are united is if the Christian person gives prayer its own undivided due. So it gives its own focus. And so for Bonhoeffer, the unity of prayer and work is really seen in the separate and defined focus that one gives to prayer throughout the day. And so he talks about prayer requires its own time. Later he'll talk about, he will kind of talk about morning prayer And he'll talk about how the morning belongs to the Christian community as you enter into this time of prayer, which then focuses your work throughout the day. And so to have our life infused with prayer, to live our life prayerfully, to use that phrase, it's not just about this declaration or this attitude that we have, that it actually has to involve a dedicated and specific decision to take dedicated time for prayer. To separate ourselves during the day in some point and to give prayer its own focus and its own due. Now, that doesn't have to be a long time. It can be 5 minutes in the morning. It can be, lunchtime prayers. It can be evening prayers. But for Bonhoeffer, if you don't have that specific time of focused prayer, well, then he will say, then you're not actually blending your prayer and your active life, your work life. And so the question posed for us, or the challenge posed for us, is to look at our own prayer lives. This is very much in keeping with Lent. Look at our own prayer lives and ask the question, am I giving dedicated time to prayer? Am I sectioning off a certain amount of my day on a regular basis to spend time with Jesus? Either in scripture reading or sitting in silence or going through morning or evening prayer. Do I give prayer its due focus and its own dedicated time? Because for Bonhoeffer, it's only when we do that, then we can actually make sure that we are living a fully prayerful Christian life. God bless you as you continue through this journey of Lent, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.